You have had hiccups 1,000 times, but almost nobody knows where they actually come from. Hiccups are one of the strangest things your body does. A sudden jolt, a weird sound, and it happens without warning. Babies hiccup in the womb. Adults hiccup after eating too fast. Some people get them from stress, excitement, or a cold drink. They can last a few seconds or, in very rare cases, weeks. Everyone has had them, but almost nobody knows why we get them. It turns out hiccups are not caused by anything useful. They are a glitch, a leftover reflex from a time when our ancestors breathed partly with gills. Your body still runs the circuit 370 million years after it stopped being needed. A hiccup is not a stomach thing. It is a diaphragm thing. The diaphragm is the dome-shaped muscle under your lungs that pulls air in when you breathe. In a hiccup, it contracts suddenly and involuntarily. A split second later, the muscles between your vocal cords slam shut. That fast closure is what makes the characteristic hic sound. The scientific name is synchronous diaphragmatic flutter. One full hiccup takes about 35 milliseconds, and most bouts fire off between 4 and 60 hiccups per minute. The whole thing is controlled by a nerve reflex, not by you. That is why you cannot stop them just by deciding to. The triggers are almost always things that irritate the nerves around the diaphragm. Eating too much stretches the stomach and pushes up against the diaphragm. Eating too fast swallows air. Carbonated drinks release carbon dioxide that expands in the stomach. Very hot or very cold drinks shock the vagus nerve, which runs right past the diaphragm on its way to the brain. Sudden excitement, stress, and even laughing hard can set off the same reflex. Babies in the womb hiccup dozens of times a day, starting around week 9 of pregnancy. Nobody is entirely sure why fetuses hiccup so much, but one leading idea is that it helps train the breathing muscles before birth. Here is where it gets strange. In 2003, a French neurologist named Christian Straus proposed that the hiccup reflex is an evolutionary leftover from our amphibian ancestors. Tadpoles and lungfish breathe using both gills and primitive lungs. To do it, they pull water into their mouths, then rapidly snap their glottis shut to force water over the gills while keeping it out of the lungs. That motion, a sharp diaphragm-like contraction followed by an instant vocal cord closure, is almost identical to a hiccup. The nerve circuit that controls it sits low in the brain stem, in an ancient region we share with fish and frogs. We stopped needing it around 370 million years ago when land animals evolved full lung breathing. But the wiring never got deleted. It just sits there, occasionally misfiring when your stomach is too full or a soda goes down wrong. Most folk cures work by interrupting the reflex arc. Holding your breath raises carbon dioxide in your blood, which suppresses the hiccup center in the brainstem. Drinking cold water stimulates the vagus nerve. A spoonful of sugar irritates the nerves at the back of the throat, overriding the signal. Scary surprises work by flooding you with adrenaline. Breathing into a paper bag also raises carbon dioxide. None of these are magic. They are all ways to disrupt the nerve loop long enough to reset it. For hiccups that last more than 48 hours, which doctors call persistent hiccups, actual medications are used, including baclofen and metoclopramide. The longest recorded case lasted 68 years. A man named Charles Osborne started hiccuping in 1922 and did not stop until 1990, roughly 430 million hiccups in total. If this changed how you think about your own body, subscribe to Curious Science. New science explainers every week.